everyone. Welcome to Golladay Fit TV. I'm Shannon Golladay, and I am here with a guest, Gillian Wiseman from Idaho. She is a wellness director at the YMCA, and she's also a personal trainer and fitness instructor. And so she's nice enough to take time today to do this interview to give us some of her best tips on how to help us during the holidays. So thanks for joining us, Gilly.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm super excited to see your face. It's been forever.
Oh, for sure. It's fun. Well, our first question for you is, so what tips do you have for women to be healthy for the holidays? Just some general tips.
Well, the first thing I think about is the people that are so all or nothing mentality. We need to throw that out the window right now because I think that holds us back so much during this season because we get so focused on like, I'm going to be at the gym for 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm going to eat this and this and this. And we're so like planned and structured, but we both know that during the holidays, it's not that way. So we have to be flexible and be able to schedule our time at the gym, even if it's only 15, 20 minutes at home doing a quick home workout, which can be so much better than nothing at all. So I think a lot of people hurt themselves by having that kind of attitude. So that would be my first tip for sure. And the next tip goes along with that one, and it's just being flexible. I know you're huge on the home workout stuff. I think so much can happen at home. 15 minutes of just a vigorous workout can be so beneficial, and then just being able to watch your portions and be mindful of what you're eating. I mean, I could go on and on forever about that. But one thing I want to make sure I drive home today in our quick little interview is just with all the holiday eating, my number one tip probably would be, like I said, is just being mindful and being aware of what you're eating. Right? I mean, do you already have treats bombarding your house, Shannon, already, or not quite?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
sugar overflow is coming in already. So yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that, being able to step back and be aware of what you're putting in your mouth is probably one of the most important things, as well as just being flexible with your time and getting whatever you can get it in. So
yeah, that's really good. Can you elaborate? I know there's a lot of people on the all or nothing mentality. They try to be perfect and then they just say forget it, and they'll go like a week or a month or just even throughout the holidays skip it. So what are some good tips on, how to be doing good and not trying to be super perfect?
well, that is a tricky one. And like you said, I'm a personal trainer and I've been doing that for about 6 years. And I get to be around a ton of people. So I have asked so many people that are fit, people that are not fit, like what are they doing, to look that way and to feel good and whatever. And it's all about like it's all about being aware, being able to know what you're putting in your mouth. And even though it's the all or nothing mentality a lot of people have, I think it ends up hurting them in the end. I have clients that that get ready for holidays, for example, or vacations, and they're just like all in, you know what I mean? And then they end up hurting themselves, and it all comes back around. Like they never seem to be able to like get where they want to be because they're always crashing, like you said, and then getting down on themselves for not making their goals. And so my biggest tips for them is to be able to start planning out your goals.
Yeah,
I think people get so caught up and then beat themselves up over not reaching their goal. So setting realistic goals is probably the first thing I would do for sure.
that's really good. What do you think about moderation? And when people have all these treats around, do you think just get rid of all the treats, or do you think maybe have a little treat here and there?
Oh my gosh. Well, I just talked to a gal that went to Mexico, and I haven't seen her for about 5 months probably, and she's always had to lose about 30 or 40 pounds. She used to come to my Zumba class. She's from Mexico, went back there, and she told me something that I wanted to make sure I shared because it kind of I connected with what she was saying. Well, she lost all that weight, so of course I'm like, what did you do? What have you, because I knew she hadn't been exercising because I hadn't seen her in class. And she said that she went to the seminar down there that they told you to rate food from 1 to 10. So that first bite that you take of that treat that's sitting on your counter is usually a 10. You love it. It tastes delicious, you know. And then, you know, after the second or third bite, it's probably like a 9, 10 still. But then how many times were we just eating it to finish it rather than like it doesn't really taste as good anymore? So that mentality of just enjoying the food, even if it's just 3 or 4 bites rather than over consuming, because before you know it, how easy is it to consume like 500, 600 calories like that, you know, but it's a lot harder to burn it off. So just being able to like have that 1 to 10 scale really like resonated with me. I thought that was kind of a good little plan. And
That's
you've probably heard of that 3 bite rule.
mm-hmm.
Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't, but that's a great tip. Yeah, so
Yeah.
take
Then it,
three bites to enjoy enough and not overindulge.
yeah. And I love that. I tell my clients that all the time because anything after that, especially when you're eating like high sugary, fatty foods, well, your body doesn't really get much from those. So there's really no reason to continue eating after 3 or 4 bites because you're just eating for fun at that point. So the 3 bite rule, or if it works for you to do the 1 to 10 scale in your head, I think that'll help be able to still enjoy your favorite foods, but then not go overboard.
Yeah, I love that, especially during the holidays because there's so many good treats. So, you know, a lot of people see the treats and they'll try to eliminate them, but then they'll binge because they are not
I know. Because they're all or nothing. So many of us are that way, and then we end up feeling so bad about ourselves, and then it's like, screw it, I'm just gonna eat all winter long.
Yep,
So
yep, for sure. So the next question is, so how do you stay motivated with your health and fitness goals, you know, with so much going on, family, friends, activities, plays, what, you know, everything going on, how do you stay motivated?
it's tricky. Well, how do you stay motivated? I struggle with that. I think everyone does because it's such a busy time of year. But I think one thing we need to do is just make sure we schedule our time. If working out is important to you and burning those calories, then make sure you set your alarm, put it in your calendar over whatever you need to do, get it done, and then start your day. Make sure you're making time for it because it's important to you. And I don't know about you, Shannon, but I end up feeling so crabby if I don't get my exercise in, and then I'm eating bad on top of that. So we need it right now more than anything to de-stress and to just be normal.
Oh,
So scheduling it in is probably the biggest thing, just
yeah.
making time for it.
Yeah, I love
And you
that.
know what? There are so many fun challenges that happen around this time of year, like with whether it's like church groups or friends, neighbors, whatever. You probably do it too. Is just like challenge everyone for 25 days, and you're going to do this and this and this, and help each other lose weight. Have accountability with a partner or a friend, and that helps a lot too, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Those are great tips, and it's always more motivating with others than by yourself. So yeah,
Absolutely,
great tip.
I agree.
And for me, you know, also to keep me motivated is remembering why I'm doing it. You know, like you say, like to de-stress and have more patience with my kids, or you know, just have more patience in life and with the holidays and everything going on. To be able to, you know, just de-stress and have that time, and then go back to real life. And so that's a big reason why I do it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are all real reasons too. I love it because I mean, you probably run into people, and we've all been guilty of this, where we're so focused on like, I got to get skinny. I got to get skinny, you know, rather than like thinking of all the other benefits of exercise and eating right, because there's so many, and a lot of them have nothing to do with fitting into jeans, you know. So it's just like having that right mentality, I think, is super important.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Um, so what are some tips? We have a lot of moms here with healthy eating as a family. You know, what are some tips as far as eating healthy as a family so you can incorporate everyone?
Wow, this is a tough one. Um, I personally struggle with this a lot. I have 2 little boys, and so I get the struggle. It's hard to get your kids to eat healthy, and then I'm a single mom, but there's a lot of people out there with husbands that you have to try to accommodate too. So I think that one thing I'm trying to teach my children and myself is paying attention to your hunger and fullness. like a lot of times we lose our intuition with like when we need to eat and why we're eating. And during the holidays, especially because we're just bombarded with treats every second, and we probably don't even know if we're hungry or full or what's going on. We're just constantly grazing.
Yeah.
One thing I really try to hit home with my kids is, are you full? You know, are you satisfied? Are you even hungry? Do you really need to eat that cookie? Should we save it for later when you actually want it? And just being able to recognize that like hunger fullness level within themselves, I think that's huge. I almost think it's more important than teaching like, well, yeah, I need to eat those vegetables, and even though that's important, I don't want to take away that, but just being able to be in tune with your body. How many of us have lost that? And that's why we've either gained weight or lost our fun health, because we're paying much attention to diet, potions and pill things.
Yeah.
So teaching your kids and and your husband to not overeat and things like that is big. I need to plan my snacks, or healthy eating's out the door. So I don't know what you do. I think that you're big on that as well, is prepping and planning ahead of time. I saw on your Facebook you do that. You menu plan and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think that helps at least keep the snacks on track and keeps your kids, at least they're going to get some carrots for the day. So they've got something, when you have everything packed up. So planning and preparing too is big.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, just staying organized, even taking, 10 to 15 minutes a week to plan for the next week, helps a lot. And you actually save a lot of time in the week when it gets crazy. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And money probably, because how many times have you just been on the go and like, crap, I'll just go grab a quick protein bar or jerky or something at the gas station, and you're spending so much money that way rather than planning ahead and having this stuff with you.
Yeah, for sure. So it will help us save money for the holidays as well as be healthy. So I have one other question for you. So what do you do when you're going out to eat? Because I know during the holidays, a lot of people
Oh,
go out
yeah.
to eat. So what are some tips for that?
Well, what I have ended up doing is when I know that I'm going to be out and about, I try to check the nutrition facts before I go. And actually, in fact, in my car right now, I have a binder of like the top 5 places that I frequent the most. I try not to eat out very often, but especially this time of year, like you're just shopping and doing whatever, so you're just going to grab something fast. And I have like the nutrition facts already printed out, and I just like have my top 5 things that I'm going to allow myself to eat. I mean, some days I might not feel like that, so I'm going to eat what I'm craving. But if you try to pick those things that are, low calories, low fat, that you already know and you've already mapped them out, it makes life so much easier. It takes all of the questions out of whether or not that's healthy, because you've already done your homework. So I think that helps a lot. You've probably heard, if you are going to go out to eat, just make sure you like cut your portion in half right when you get your plate, stick it in a to-go box. That way you have food for later. I love that. And then you're only eating half as much as they give, which is usually all you need anyways. So, because the last thing we need to be doing right now is overeating at the restaurant, because when we get home, there's food everywhere too. And so we have to be careful with how many calories we're consuming. So cutting it in half is a great and easy way to save some calories.
Yeah, I love that. And then you can use it the next day and have some food ready for the next day too.
Yeah, who doesn't like leftovers?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the usual, like, get grilled instead of fried and all those different tips. I mean, I could bore you with tips forever, but when it comes down to it, I think it goes back to being mindful. Like, listen to your body. If you start getting full, then stop eating. I don't care if you're eating fried chicken or grilled chicken. When you get full, you stop. Or before you get full, preferably. And I think will save us a world of stress and extra pounds if we can just somehow wrap our heads around just being mindful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mindful. That's so important because I think we tend to not think of that. I think the mentality, at least for me growing up, finish your food, clean your plate, that kind of mentality, but we could overeat just cleaning our plate because our portion sizes are too big, like at a restaurant or something.
Oh my gosh, I know. We try so hard to try to be mindful of our bodies and not overeat. Why are we encouraging that,
Yeah.
Why are we serving such huge portion sizes in restaurants? I don't know, and it probably won't stop. So we have to be the ones to change and control that.
Yeah.
and not overconsume.
Yeah, definitely. And teach our children. I think that's really important. If you're being a good example to your children, then, they'll be better as adults as well. So,
Yeah. And as a mom, sometimes you don't feel like you're making an impact. I mean, most of the time you don't actually. I never feel like anything's soaking in, but I think they'll get it. I mean, even little things like just trying to have more vegetables around, they'll recognize that when they're older. So as a parent, don't beat yourself up over it if your kids are love candy and they're eating tons of candy. Like just try to set that example every single day by giving them healthy foods and fruits and vegetables and whole grains and all that stuff that you probably all know already, but don't beat yourself up over it if your kids aren't reacting right away. They'll get it.
hmm that's really good. And yeah, just continuing to be a good example and not getting discouraged, but just keep going. So yeah, that's
Yeah, absolutely.
awesome. Well, those are all my questions. Do you have any other tips or feedback to any closing words?
Make sure you enjoy. This is a time of year to enjoy. And I've seen too many people get so wrapped up in wanting to lose weight and wanting to eat perfect and get to the gym and look like this person that I think it takes the joy out of the season sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think we can be successful at still losing weight and getting healthy if we, like we talked about, just be mindful and aware of what we're eating and take the time to be active when we can, but not beat ourselves up over it. Because we all know that being more stressed out and beating ourselves up over it ends up in a binge on chocolate chips or whatever we got in our pantry. So just take the time and enjoy the season and have a great holiday.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Gilly. This was a great interview. I loved your tips. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Shannon. It was fun.
Sure. Yeah. Well, if you want to follow Gilly, you can find her on Facebook, and I'll post the link here to Gillian Wiseman on Facebook, and she's at the YMCA in Idaho. Which city are you at in Idaho?
I'm in Twin Falls, Idaho.
Okay, so Twin Falls, Idaho. So you can stop by if you're in the area. So thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great holiday season, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye bye.
Bye.